President-elect Trump's transition team briefing him today after meeting on Capitol Hill with House Speaker Paul Ryan Thursday and laying out Trump's agenda.
What are the top three?
We have a lot. We're very strong in immigration. We're very strong in healthcare. And we're looking at jobs, big league jobs.
How will Mr. Trump's agenda impact President Obama's legacy? Let's bring back our panel. We have Jason Johnson and Jackie Kucinich. You heard him, if you could hear the audio there, it wasn't great. He talked about jobs. Yesterday when Rudy Giuliani was here and talked to Chris, he said that taxes, lowering taxes, cutting taxes would be the first point on their agenda. I guess we just have to wait and see. I mean, what are the signs you're seeing?
Well, you know, I look at what Donald Trump said he'd do in the first 100 days. He's going to lower taxes. He wants to declare China a currency manipulator. I mean, he's got a really aggressive first 100 days, and it'll be interesting to see what he does. From a policy perspective, my greatest concern is actually the Affordable Care Act. He is elected president. The Republicans control the House and Senate. They have every right to dismantle the Affordable Care Act. They have a mandate. My concern is they've had 6 years and haven't come up with a replacement. And so if they decide to end that on day one, I wonder what their plan will be. And unfortunately, I don't think we know yet.
You mean for the 20 million people who are already covered? What happens to them?
Yes.
Well, and the contract holders. You know, because this is a very sophisticated piece of legislation that did not get the benefit, Jackie, of massaging, bipartisan massaging, because this was an end run. You know, this was a play to strength by Obama, using his majority to get it through. So you have one-year contracts that people, they're contracts like any other one. So you would need a year of lead time before you could change what those people are on anyway. Politically, does it make sense to go after something that you can't immediately fix?
If they have wanted to repeal Obamacare from the get-go, that said, you are right. There does need to be a plan to put something else there rather than leaving a bunch of people uninsured and, you know, holding the bag. So we'll have to see what they do. You know, there have been some proposals that have been kicking around Congress, but this is going to be a very real and a very big job that Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell first are going to have to usher through.
But, you know, they have said, I mean, I think publicly that they do want to continue to protect people with pre-existing conditions. I think they've said that they do want to keep people up until 26 years old still being able to be on their parents' plans.
Right.
And so it isn't a wholesale dismantling. It's like piecemeal.
We would hope so. We would hope so, just for the purposes of allowing people to ease into it. But again, you know, that's what we were talking about before. We don't know what Donald Trump we're getting. We don't know if it's going to be a Donald Trump who says, Alisyn, well, I'm just going to do this, and it's Congress's job to fix it, or if he's really going to be slow and negotiate. And again, if this is something that the Republican base has been begging for and pleading for years, I can't imagine this president dragging his feet on ending the Affordable Care Act.
So the transition team, again, as part of the give the man a chance, it takes time to build a team. What are you hearing about who may fill in some of the slots, and what's your response?
I mean, you're hearing a lot of it. You're hearing Newt Gingrich put up for several different positions. You're hearing Senator Jeff Sessions perhaps being Secretary of Defense. We're hearing everyone. You're hearing a bunch of names for Treasury. But no one knows yet. So it really is sort of our favorite parlor game is speculation after any new administration.
Well, the big decision he has to make is which way does he go on the political team, Bannon or Priebus?
Right.
The chief of staff, and those two are stark contrasts.
They're stark contrasts. What I am hoping is, and this was some of the word that came out of D.C., you know, yesterday after some of these original meetings. The Obama team is like, look, we're going to follow what George Bush did. Bush was very magnanimous. He helped us out a lot. What I was hearing out of D.C. is they said a lot of the Trump people, because they haven't worked in government, were almost overwhelmed by the information, by what this transition is going to be like. I hope many Republicans who are part of the establishment see it as their patriotic duty to help usher in this transition. You cannot start a new government with people who have no experience in it.
And you are hearing that. Initially, I think we reported that you had a lot of foreign policy experts and national security folks who wanted nothing to do with the Trump administration. And I think it's settling in now that they need help.
So
they need help like any new administration coming in from the people who know this stuff best.
So are the national security people changing their tune? That they will be
It's
helpful?
gone from never Trump to like, yeah, okay, maybe Trump.
Okay.
Because they're seeing just how much needs to be done. But chief of staff, the key word, I mean, that's someone who makes the trains run on time. They really, it's staff. right? They're the manager. So that's why you hear some of the more some of the people who are closer to Donald Trump that are pushing reince priebus.
Yeah. We've heard his kids. We've heard his kids are pushing for reince
Jared
priebus,
Kushner.
but that he is inclined towards Steve Bannon. If Steve Bannon, who is, you know, the head of Breitbart, the inflammatory website, if he were chief of staff, what would that look like?
I think it would be very, very incendiary to many of the same organizations that are out protesting now. It's also, if you hear word from how Steve Bannon ran Breitbart, it brings some real questions as to how he would manage the White House. Some of the hostility, some of the language he was known to supposedly use when dealing with people. I don't know if that's the precedent that you want to set in D.C. One of the things that they've got to realize is you're dealing with career bureaucrats. There are people in Washington who are going to go up to Donald Trump and say, I was here before you got here and I'll be here when you're gone. You're going to have to respect me. And if he comes in with someone like Bannon, who will be hostile to those kinds of people, I think they're going to have trouble getting some things done. It would be much better to pick Reince.
I mean, not to mention how hostile he is to Speaker Paul Ryan.
Yes, exactly.
Donald Trump needs.
To get anything done.
Yeah.
Right.
So how important are these, not the cabinet positions so much, but the political people that he puts around him? How much of a reflection will that be of who he is to the people he'd be working with every day there on the congressional side?
I mean, that's who they see every day. They don't see Donald Trump every day, but the liaisons and the people that he...
So they're his face.
They're his face. They are his representative. So it's critical that he strikes the right tone and picks good... I mean, he says he has the best people. And he needs to, you know, now he needs to do it. Now he needs to hire the best people.
Jackie, Jason, thanks so much for all of your perspective on this. Stick around.